If you're a dog owner, you know that some of their happiest moments can also be their messiest. But what if one of the most common things they do, something that seems totally innocent, could be hiding a pretty serious danger? We're going to talk about a disease that can start with something as simple as a sip of water from the wrong spot.
Oh yeah, we've all seen this, right? You're out on a walk and they find a puddle and just go to town, lapping it up. It seems so harmless, so fun. But that simple act is actually one of the most common ways dogs get exposed to a dangerous and totally invisible threat.
So, over the next few minutes, we're going to pull back the curtain on this hidden risk. We'll break down what it is, learn how to spot the signs your dog might be showing you, and, most importantly, we'll cover the simple, powerful things you can do to keep them safe.
All right, let's put a name to this invisible risk. We are talking about a disease called leptospirosis.
So what is it? Well, the cause is this tiny little troublemaker, a spiral-shaped bacteria. I want you to picture a tiny corkscrew, because that shape actually helps it move through water and soil. Once it gets inside your dog, it hitches a ride in the bloodstream and launches a major attack, mostly on two really important organs, the kidneys and the liver.
So how in the world does this bacteria find its way from out there into our dogs? Let's follow the trail.
It all starts with wildlife. Animals like rats, raccoons, even deer and other farm animals can carry the bacteria and shed it in their urine, often without even looking sick themselves. That urine contaminates puddles, ponds, or just damp soil. And this bacteria is tough. It can survive out there for months. Then your dog comes along and gets infected, either by drinking that contaminated water or even just walking through it if they have a tiny cut on their paw. From there, the bacteria slip into the bloodstream and start their journey to those vital organs.
Now, you might be thinking this is just a problem for dogs who live out in the country, right? Well, here's the surprising part. Almost every single dog is at risk. Sure, dogs on farms or ones who swim in ponds are high on the list, but we are seeing lepto more and more in cities. And why is that? Because the bacteria can be anywhere there's contaminated urine. Think dog parks, boarding kennels, or even your own backyard if rodents are passing through at night. Our dogs rely on us to notice when something's not right. Learning to spot the early signs of leptospirosis is so important, especially because the symptoms can be really subtle at first. In the beginning, you might just notice your dog seems a little off. You know, maybe they have a fever, they seem extra tired, or they're just not interested in their food. But as the bacteria start to damage the organs, you'll see more alarming signs. Jaundice, which is a yellowing of the gums or the whites of their eyes, is a big red flag for liver damage. And any changes in urination, like they're suddenly drinking and peeing a ton or maybe not peeing at all, that points straight to kidney trouble.
If you see any of these signs, it's time to call your vet. And I want to say this right away. Don't panic. Getting a clear diagnosis is a step-by-step process, and we have some really great tools to get answers pretty quickly.
So your vet will start with a good physical exam, and they'll ask you a lot of questions about where your dog has been and what they've been up to. Then they'll run some initial blood and urine tests to see how the organs are functioning. To really nail down if it's lepto, they'll use more specific tests. A PCR test is amazing. It actually looks for the bacteria's DNA to confirm an active infection. Another one, called a MAT test, checks for antibodies to see how your dog's immune system is fighting back. Hearing the word leptospirosis is scary, I totally get it. But here's the really good news. This is a treatable disease, and with the right care, there is a lot of reason to be hopeful. Treatment really has two main jobs: fight the bacteria and support the body while it heals. We use antibiotics, very often one called doxycycline, to wipe out the infection. At the very same time, supportive care is absolutely key. This usually means a hospital stay with IV fluids to help flush the kidneys and keep them hydrated, plus other medications to control things like nausea and pain. 80 to 90%. I want you to really hear that number. That's the survival rate for dogs who get quick, proper veterinary care. This is the most important message I can give you. Acting fast saves lives. If you even suspect something is wrong, please do not wait. Of course, even better than treating this disease is stopping it from ever happening in the first place. And thankfully, we have a really powerful toolkit to build a strong defense for our dogs. Our defense strategy really boils down to three key things. First, and this is the big one, is vaccination. We have an excellent vaccine now that protects against the 4 most common types of lepto. Second, just be aware of their environment. Try your best to keep your dog from drinking out of puddles and ponds. And third,
Control the source by doing what you can to minimize any rodent visitors around your property.
I get a lot of questions about vaccine safety, and that's a perfectly valid concern. But the data on this is really clear. The risk of a reaction to the leptospirosis vaccine is no higher than for any other routine shot your dog gets. It's a safe, effective way to give them powerful protection for at least a full year.
So at the end of the day, it all comes down to this: combining that annual vaccine with some simple awareness of your surroundings. That gives you the best defense possible against this serious disease. It's a real 1-2 punch that keeps your best friend protected. Remember, this information is for educational purposes and is not a substitute for professional veterinarian advice. If you have any concerns about your pet's health, please consult with your certified veterinarian. They are your best resource for ensuring your companion lives a long, happy, and healthy life.